Hi, I'm Jamie Socomel, and I'm here today to talk to you about what it looks like to develop a relationship with another person using the social penetration theory. The amount of information that a person is willing to disclose and share with another person differs greatly by the type of relationship that it is. Uncovering how close a person can get to their coworkers, their friends, their significant others, and their family members will showcase the role of social penetration plays in an ongoing relationship. People come in and out of our lives in all levels of relational closeness. Our interactions with others on a daily basis will help develop our relationships, and some may be referred to as acquaintances. Some of us are friends, some are family members, and some are a little bit more intimate when it comes to significant others or spouses. The process of getting to know others will result in relationships that may last a lifetime or have a shorter lifespan. The social penetration theory, according to Altman and Taylor, is a process of developing deeper intimacy with another person through mutual self disclosure and other forms of vulnerability. That's from communication and interpersonal relationships. As you start to develop relationships with others, you find yourself disclosing information back and forth with the other person. The intimacy in which you share that information and have with someone else is really determined by the amount of self disclosure you're willing to express. Typically, the more self disclosure that you have, the more intimate a relationship can become. You have friends that you have just met, that you have friends that you have more intimate relationship with that you've known a little bit longer. And you also have your entire life long friends or colleagues that you work with, which are all different examples of relationships that you have and hold at multiple levels of self disclosure, differentiating each one of those types of relationships. What the social penetration theory is often referred to is like the onion theory. So, just like an onion, as you would peel the layers of an onion to get to the core of it, there's different levels of the social penetration theory. The deeper the intimacy is, and the more information that you disclose, the more core of who you are comes out. Kind of like the onion. When you get to the core, that's the more uh, vulnerable area. The more information that you would disclose in a communication with other people to get to know them, and at some in some instances, it still can make you cry like an onion would. Within the social penetration theory, and as you uncover the layers, the communication that you express out, there's a depth and breadth to that. And within each of those layers, the depth and breadth is the information that you actually share out. It gives you the general tendencies and the beliefs, as well as the different specific aspects of your life that you want to share. And according to Lewin, Altman, and Taylor, the breath frequency does refer to the depth of the category or how intimate of the information a person is willing to disclose to another person. The items that you find the greatest depth in are the ones, again, near the core of that onion, which would be the most individualized and the least visible to others. So the information really has to be drawn out, and someone has to be willing to disclose that information. So going through the layers of the onion, layer one is the things that you see on the outside. Someone's physical features, like the color of their hair, the color of their eyes, things that you can see that doesn't really contain a lot of self-disclosure for another person. Then you've got layer two, which is more of an exploratory exchange amongst each other, sharing your likes, your dislikes, things that you may, experience on a daily basis. Then you go into layer three, where you share maybe your preferences in clothing, your style, the music that you like, the food that you like. This is where you really start to find commonalities amongst yourself and the other person that you're building a relationship with. And this is where you start to maybe connect on a more intimate level because you're starting to get to know them and figure out if you're compatible. Layer four is where you really start sharing your feelings and your goals. So maybe personal goals, your professional goals, things that you really have to disclose that someone wouldn't know about you. Then in layer five, this is a layer where you may share your religious convictions, something that is a little bit more vulnerable for yourself. This is a layer that you tend to really have some trust, uh, feel like you have a safe space to disclose that information within that relationship. And then you've got layer six, which is really your deeply held fears and fantasies, things that are private that you don't share with everybody, and it's again a more intimate level. And then you get down to your core, that core of the onion, where you tend to keep more of this information to yourself. Things like your self doubt, self disclosure, self image, things that are your most extreme vulnerabilities. Oftentimes shared with people that you trust the most, so your best friends, maybe your spouses, significant others, therapists, things like that. And that pretty much sums up the layers of what the social penetration or onion theory would be. So as you can see, you start out with really minimal things that you share back and forth, and the more intimate and deeper disclosures that you have, the closer you can get with other people. According to Altman and Taylor, they do believe that the process of social penetration moves the most quickly in those early stages of involvement, and then it slows considerably. And again, it's so much easier to share the information that you have with other people on the outside, the things that people can see, and your interactions with people daily. But when it really gets down to that core of that onion, those are the ones that you may only have a select few individuals in your life that you're that close with. And then, as Bach states from the personal impact of company policies, there are potential rewards and costs associated with even ethical violations. And a good example of that is in the workplace. You may encounter an individual that believes things a certain way, and to you it would be something that might be unethical. Each individual, again, has his or her own unique calculation of what such violations would mean to them, and since each person's behavior holds a different assessment of the reward and cost associated with whatever rule it may be that you think they're breaking, or ethical code. Um, there's future possibilities and past interactions that may cause some discomfort with you. So when it comes to getting to know someone, that's when you really start figuring out, who a person really is. You may spend a lifetime experiencing mutual self-disclosure with other people, building relationships of all sorts, and experiencing, again, your friendships, your love, and partnerships. And in the end, when it comes to relationships, some people may come into our lives, leave footprints on our hearts, and we are never, ever the same.